Hi, Romesh Shivastu here, Editor-in-Chief Sightsin Plus. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Please do subscribe this for the HR news, for the HR updates, for the HR trends, for the HR tech trends, and conversation with the top-notch CHROs. So the agenda for today's discussion is HR technology trends for coming year 2023. So if you look at the last 2-3 years, so digital adoption has taken a quantum leap, and that is across the organization, across the industry. Virtual work and the remote working is a new normal now, and people are loving it. If I can refer a report by the McKinsey, so this report emphasizes on that employees who work on remotely see greater efficiency, and they are more optimistic about their work. If you look at the HR functions, starting from the recruitment, hiring, and the onboarding, almost every function is digitalized now. But the problem is with the uh, workplace culture. But what we say that जिसने दर्द दिया वही दवा भी देगा. So let us see how the HR technology can help in developing a two-way communication system, how it can help to re-engage the employees, how it can help to rebuild the trust, how it can help to rebuild the employee experience system. So to discuss in detail, I have two HR tech experts, both the renowned HR tech experts, and let me introduce Mr. Soumya Santu Singh. Soumya is a future of work and digital leader. He is also the co-founder of MetaFlow and People Conscious. Another HR tech expert is Mr. Shakun Khanna. Shakun is vice president and head SaaS Alliances and Channels Asia Pacific at the Oracle. So, Soumya, if I come to you first, so in your opinion, how do you see that the current work culture, and how do you see the scope for the HR technology here to evolve the workplace?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, Ramesh, to inviting me in this session. So yeah, definitely HR tech is definitely evolving for last many years, right? So we have seen from the old ERP systems and HR systems in the workplace, financial systems, but now we see like moving to clouds and then using of the artificial intelligence, data analytics. We have seen also use of also blockchain in some of the cases as well, right? Technology like them. We use the use of the AR, VR devices in many places, even learning. So definitely it's increasing a lot in terms of the, especially on the collaboration front and the learning front, right? We have seen the use of like Microsoft Team or Zoom in this pandemic world, widely used for the remote working environment. We have seen the digital workspace like Google's workspace or Microsoft Team providing very use efficiently. So things are changing like quite in a dynamic way, right? And then there are a lot of catalysts, and pandemic is one of them, definitely. We all know that, and we are all aware of that. So this is an ongoing topic, right, Ramesh? And
So, Shakun, I was just briefing about the background that how the work culture that is disrupted as of now. So, same, I would like to know your opinion on this. That how do you see that how the work culture has been disrupted, and how do you see here the scope for the HR technology so that that can help to evolve the work culture?
This is a very pertinent question. And as we all know, there are 4 or 5 key changes that have happened in the work culture and the mindset of people permanently. And technology will play a very important role in bringing all those changes to life. First is around flexi working. Now, when initially it started, it was about being able to work for a remote place. Do we have VPN connectivity? Do we have laptops and things like that? But I think over a period of time, it has evolved. It has evolved to things like how do we provide a very new employee experience to people? So there are people who are joining organizations but are not visiting the offices anymore. So can we use advanced technologies like, for example, the Metaverse to induct people and give them an experience of what offices could look like? Flexi working is also requiring companies to relook at policies differently. There is a much higher level of personalization in the policies that is happening. So how does technology play a role in enabling that for organization, whether it is my compensation structure, whether it is my entitlements, benefits, and so on and so forth? The third important change is around the skilling of people and how people are learning. And needless to say, technology is playing a very important role in terms of understanding the needs of the people using advanced analytics and then enabling them to develop those skills again in a virtual environment and in a work from anywhere and learn from anywhere perspective. And last piece is around how talent identification and talent attraction is happening. There, of course, technology is playing a very, very important role. So all in all, I feel that some of these changes are triggered by technology and some of these changes are brought to life by technology, and it's pretty much here to stay.
So, ma'am, as the metaverse that has been also the buzzword in 2020, a lot of discussion has been done here. And so, how do you see that the next generation workplace, if we talk about, how do you see the role of metaverse here?
Yeah, metaverse is definitely one of the big opportunity for all of us in terms of like future workplace design. If you think from that perspective, although like if you understand, try to understand the metaverse perspective is very different by different people, right? So some people think like using a VR headset could bring the metaverse environment, the virtual environment. So if you think from that angle, like metaverse have multiple layers. And main part is like, to provide a seamless connection of the physical and the digital lens, right? With a unified experience, experience is definitely one of the key part, which Shakun was mentioning on the metaverse, where people not only can work, they can also do their own personal life, bring into the same environment. And think about a mixed reality. And that's why it should be go beyond the virtual reality. With a mixed reality, you are working and you can go to a virtual world, you can bring your part of your personal and work life together. Could be a great place for learning an event, right? So attending event in the same place which you are working, right? Training center, like having a employee lounge where you can meet other people from different part of world. Again, part of remote working there, alternative workspace, well-being space. Like there are also like there are a lot of mental things, initiatives which are working for the well-being and co-working space as well, right? So these are something like which is not infrastructure wise, we are not ready, right? So if you see, like none of the corporates are ready for this infrastructure. And also like the technology used beyond the underlying the metaverse is very, very advanced, right? Like things like spatial computing, right? And like advanced artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, which is still adopting a lot, from the last many years. So this will definitely take some time, but it's a good initiative, to start on, like explore the world. Like especially, I know like few companies are using already VRs devices for their learning environment for the employees. It's a good starting point, but definitely it has a huge, huge, big future ahead.
Shakun, would you like to add here something? Because as we talk about a lot of the workplace disruption, and so how do you see how the metaverse is going to help us into this?
See, again, as Soumya Santu said, metaverse is going to change a lot of things. However, as we all know, it is in its infancy, right now. There is a lot to be done because metaverse is a great idea. It's a great promise, but what we see on ground today is very early stages of its development. But one thing is very clear that as far as adoption of metaverse in HR context is concerned, it will be right from a pre-hire to a post-hire stage. I cannot think of a particular aspect of employee life cycle where it could not be very, very relevant. So I think it is for us to see. But from an early adoption standpoint, I feel that onboarding and learning and development are two scenarios where it will be adapted very fast and in the phase one. And then, of course, as Mark Zuckerberg creates newer applications and newer experiences, we will be very keen to embrace it and adopt it.
I'm asking one personal question to you, Sakun. That I was going through profile and I saw that you moved from the HR consulting to HR tech. So which one do
Yes,
you?
I did.
So which one you do? Which one do you find the better?
Well, it's not better or worse. I think these are two sides of the same coin. In fact, I spent almost 1.5 decades in HR consulting space. And as we started relooking at the impact that we could create on business as consultants, I realized that now we cannot do anything without technology. We talk about learning and development, we talk about change management, we talk about productivity enhancement, even career and succession planning, coaching of people. Everything today needs a technology application. And that's where I thought that perhaps as a consultant without understanding HR tech, I am half baked. So it's like kind of icing on the cake. I do very strongly believe, and that's been my experience, that everything that we are doing specifically in the HR space gets augmented and accelerated by use of the right technology. And on the other hand, the development of HR technology has to be guided by HR experts. Otherwise, it will not land the way it needs to be. So more and more organizations are realizing that, and more professionals are embracing that change, I would say.
So, Sapun, concluding with this, so if we look at the some employee engagement part, some belongingness part, so that is, I think, the most pain area as of now for the all the HR leaders. So, how do you see here the technology can help in this scenario, HR technology especially?
See, this pain will always continue because till the time human beings continue to work in the workforce, they will have emotional, and I don't want to say issues here, and that's why I'm looking for the right word, but they will have emotional qualities that will impact the work and performance. Now, beyond a point, we can't change that, but the way technology helps us understand is to first identify what are the kind of emotions people are going through. There was a time when organizations used to do annual employee experience surveys or employee engagement surveys. And by the time we would go back to the employees, quite a few of them may have left it, or their mental makeup would have changed by then, right? So it became very irrelevant. Today, you have technology applications that can tell you what is the mood of your workforce now. Within an hour or two, you can take an action and get it changed to the extent possible, right? I think that's a very important piece. The other piece is around how do you enable leaders and managers to be able to take care of certain emotional challenges that people are going through. There are a lot of well-being and coaching applications out there that are able to do that in real time, which I think are the two very important requirements of managing employee experience anywhere, and the technology is playing a very important role there.
So, Soumya, I was going through also your profile, and that time I saw a lot of job titles. Somehow the coach, somewhere the keynote speaker, somewhere so different titles I saw. So, which is the latest and which is the what you like to be mentioned? That is the current job title as of
Yeah, so it's transformative, right? So so
now.
even individual people are transformative, as Shakun said, like moving from HR to tech, right? So my background is a little different. Like I'm moving from like tech to like more on the business, right? And HR is definitely my key area of work from the business process perspective. So when you say like this doesn't matter, title doesn't matter, right? So title in the sense like it give a clarity like what type of work you are involving with, right? So I involve with like a lot of things like from the design, from the solution architect, tech, from project managing programs, transformation projects, building models, right? So in many cases, even coaching on the leadership from the digital strategy point of view. So those are the things like, and basically like I'm more like a strategist, right? So working from the digital strategic point of view. And when you say from the strategy, like connecting these different dots are very important, vital, as I said, like understanding from the people perspective, understand from the business perspective, but also
Right.
technology perspective. There are three different elements which are have to be combined together.
So, Sumaya, how do you foresee that the top HR technology trends that are going to shape the business in 2023?
Yeah, so 23 will be not anything new from like what we are doing for 2021, even 22, right? So it's more like evolution of what we are doing today, right? So the use of, you have seen like a massive increase in the analytics part, right? Especially like taking decision based on insight, right? We are using all HR functions, like all the processes in the HR, like as Shakun was mentioning, from the talent perspective, from the engagement perspective, we have seen like most of the companies are using those talent informatics or talent insights, right? So that's going more and more advanced, right? So a lot of companies are, I think, will move towards a predictive part, like now moving from a descriptive to predictive, where we can use like advanced machine learning models and other. That's one of the definitely key area. Like we have seen, like also like most of the organizations have moved to like cloud solutions. No more use of the old ERP solutions. Most of the big companies, mid-sized companies have moved to clouds. We will definitely see like better advancement in towards how we can create a better experience part, right? And employee experience here is a very very key aspect, because employee experience is very same to a customer experience you are getting from any product or any functions today, right? Think from your personal life, using buying something in Flipkart or Amazon or something. Customer experience matter the most, right? And that's why you ask about the question about engagement, and I think that's the mindset we need to change to really increase on the engagement. We really think about like how we can improve the employee experience perspective. And employee experience itself is a huge area, right? It's not only from the HR, also from the experience from the employees, like their day-to-day working life, in with the IT, with the finance, with the facilities, with the leadership team, with their peers. Like, so all those things are connecting now. You can see like that's why like Shakun mentioning, right? So coaching is an important aspect when you think like from how we can fit with the employees. The mindset change from the HR, from like their operational work to strategic work, is very important. That's why you see like the growth of HR VPs more on the strategic part, like than their policies and the operation. Is definitely a big change. And all this matters because these are all linked. That's how you can definitely goes towards like building a great path towards creating a better employee experience. And it's covered not only employee life cycle. It started with a candidate. When you're the hiring started having a candidate and management, once they input, and also like when they're even leaving, like they're also like thinking about managing employee like alumni or retiree, right? So those experience matters a lot. Yeah, so this is a vast topic, and technology, if you see from that perspective, we have also seen the growth of employee experience platform, right? So there, I think Oracle also have bring one of them very recently, I hear. And those are something which need to be seen, like how much this could be a good adoption for the employees, HR, and the overall HR business function, right? How we can see this this employee experience platform can be helpful, because that's the connecting point between all different dots, right? So which can create a massive improvised experience for the employees.
So, Sakun would like to add here something. Any few points, 4, 5
No,
points.
I think what Shomya Santo has said is exactly what it is happening. I think the trends that started about 2 to 3 years ago are now reaching their maturity, specifically use of analytics, use of new age technology. I think there will be an acceleration further of use of new age technologies like AR, VR, machine learning. We've already talked about Metaverse. And I think the last piece would be around consolidation of the technologies. Soumya Santu talked about employee experience platforms. I think that's a very important piece. So far, HR tech was being developed to automate certain processes and give certain experiences to people. Now it's the age of consolidation and having a single platform which can give just about everything. Today people don't like to go to different places to access different information and do different things. So I think gone are those days when you could have a separate learning management system and a separate attendance system and a separate HRIMS and so on and so forth. Companies like Oracle are, of course, leading that change by bringing in a platform that can cater to, again, pre-hire to post-retire stage. And as new and better organizations are moving to the cloud environment, this is what is happening out there.
So I think we have covered all the important points for the HR tech trends for the 2023. So if still you want anything is remaining, and that is important. So Soumya would like to share something as a concluding remark.
Yeah, so it's not untouched. It's also a part of the discussion which I haven't cover. Like one of the very important aspect is also like I think Shakun was mentioning also the personalization piece, right? Whether it's learning, whether your other experience part, even use of the HR systems and other personalization matter today. And it's very simple. Like if you see your example, like you're buying something on a your online platform, like you want to see like what you like, right? So we have seen the advanced use of machine learning algorithm. You can predict and show you the right articles which you may be interested, right? So you have seen like that, so advanced. So something very similar, like we have already started seeing also from the HR point of view, right? From the employees point of view, to see like which learning, like for example, if really employees looking for some learning initiative, they can pop up with the right learning, courses, or like what are the next immediate things, from the policies point of view, or their overall experience point of view could be helpful, so those advancement, and that's lies with their employees experience again. But those personalization part is very important today, right? Because that can give the exact moments that matters, right? Which is part of very crucial core of the employee experience part, and it's give the perfect immersive experience for the employees in that respect. So that's important piece.
So any final words, Shakun, from your side?
I think from my side, in addition to all that we have covered, three things will become more important in 2023 from a HR perspective. One is this whole aspect of ESG, sustainability, environment, and growth part of it. Having sustainable growth is very important. I think in 2021 and 2022, a lot of effort and focus has gone into understanding what it means in the context of HR and how HR can play a frontal role in that. And I think that is changing. Diversity and inclusion will take a new height. And I think it's not just about pay parity and gender. I think they're looking at newer diversity and inclusion. I think one big diversity challenge that HR will have to look at is that between man and machines, right? Today, when you are hiring for a role, it is not just whether you hire a woman or a man, but actually now there is a third entrant called the bots, right? So HR will have to decide whether to deploy a particular bot or a human being, and whether a male human being or a female human being, and so on and so forth. I think that's a very important piece. Lastly, I think it's about the whole manifestation of organizational culture in the context of new age workplace, which is very diverse, which is very spread out, and also flexi in the choices that it is making. A majority of the organizations even today are struggling with, say, a moonlighting policy, for example, right? Because those things are important. So these three factors will be very central, in addition to the employee experience, in addition to the digital journey of the organization in FY23.
So thank you, Soumya Santu and Shakun, for joining the conversation and sharing your wonderful thoughts on this.